So I'm going to tell you why I'm strongly opposed to the whole education system today. Certainly in secondary school, it's very much like a pre-university course. I think that's stupid, and I think the problem is they try to cram information into students' heads, and I honestly think most of the students who are doing these are not smart enough. Like they're actually doing more harm than good, trying to cram all this information in. Okay, now I was watching a video by Jordan Peterson, and Jordan Peterson he had a talk with university students. I don't know where exactly. I don't know what university it was, but anyway, so he said to the university students, chances are none of you have an IQ below 115. 115, okay? Now 115 is well above the average. If you have an IQ of 115, according to my research, you're smarter than I think 84% of the population. So here's the statistics. If you have a class group of 20 people, chances are only 3 of them are actually smart enough to go to university. I think that's the problem. People are pressurizing their parents into going to university, and their parents shout at them, complain at them, and stuff like that, and because they're not working hard enough. And this happened to me as well. But no, they are working hard. They just don't. They're just not smart enough. Like personally with me, I was 17. I got a job in the summertime. The year before I did the leaving cert, where I was washing cars, I got fired on my second day. All right, not because I didn't show up, not because I didn't bother, because I just couldn't get my head around washing cars. So if you're not smart enough to wash cars, you're not smart enough to go to university. Okay, that should be common sense. All right, but no, the teachers these days are just too stupid to figure this shit out. Okay. So personally, I think around that age, maybe 16, 17, I feel like maybe instead of saying to everyone, right, you need to go to university, right, study, 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 I think you should just instead of that, you should test people's IQs. Alright, so maybe if you have an IQ of 115 or above, then you can say, yeah, you're smart. You can go to university. Maybe you can try to do good grades, a leaving cert to get into university. But let's say you've got a low IQ, you're below average. Well, if you have an IQ of, let's say, 90, I feel like maybe the teachers should maybe give you a list of career opportunities where you can work with an IQ of 90. If you know what I mean, give them like a list, and let's say the student says, right, I want to do this instead, but like realistically, you need an IQ of, let's say, 100 to do that. Then okay, so maybe we'll just need to try to increase your IQ, try to get up to 100 by the time you leave here. Um, Maybe you might need to also learn a little bit of Pacific knowledge for that career before you walk into it. And to be honest, I think that would make much more sense. All right, and look, I'm not saying if you have an IQ of, let's say, 90, you can go to university, but you need to work on your IQ. So instead of cramming all this information into your brain and trying to get good enough grades to go to university when you're simply not smart enough, it would make more sense to take a step back and just focus on building up your IQ and maybe going to university at a later date. If you know what I mean. Like if you're a fucking 22-minute 5K runner, you can't just. It would be a very stupid idea for a coach just throw you in with 14-minute 5K runners and then scream and shout at you because you can't keep up. All right, like if someone actually did that, like people would look at the coach and think he's an absolute gobshite. Yet that's what the school system is doing. All right, and this whole university is for everyone. Is really just to benefit the education system, benefit their bank accounts. They don't care about the population, the people. People are so stupid they actually think they do care. No, it's business. Profit is the priority. Okay, so I feel like if you did that, you take so much of the stress off students because you get students with low IQs. They're put under so much pressure to do well. Parents screaming at them, oh, they're too lazy. They're getting migraines, headaches. They have to put themselves through all this pain. Really, it's just not a good idea. You need to take a step back. And yeah, my IQ's low. I'm trying to improve on that at the moment. When I was I think when I was in school, I was told. I think for leaving cert, I was told to study like 6 to 7 hours a day. By that point, I'd already kind of given up. Do you know what I mean? So I think for the junior cert, lead up to the junior cert, I was doing like 5 hours a day because I got a letter home saying you need to study for 5 to 6 hours per day on days where you're off school. Um, and I did that, and that was very painful. Had remember that summer I had migraines all summer, and I didn't know study at all that summer after I did the junior cert. But I still had migraines for like 2 months afterwards. All right, it's not nice, and you know, I did try to do that same amount of studying in fifth year, but I kind of towards the end of fifth year I kind of gave up. I was like, this is just too painful. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I was told I was lazy. People seem to treat me like I was an idiot or I was a weak person. But I started to question that recently, and I remember I was thinking, wait a minute, why is it that the elite runners, the professional runners, they only run for like 2 hours a day, yet we're told to study for like 8 hours a day? So I was thinking, surely maybe if I do less, maybe then I'll be able to benefit, because I got no benefit from studying 5 hours a day. I just got nowhere doing that. It was a waste of time pretty much. So yeah, I decided to start reading. I started reading for an hour and a half a day. I made a bit of progress in terms of my intellect, but then I started to burn out, so I cut down to an hour. Same thing happened, cut down to 45 minutes. Same thing happened, cut down to 30 minutes. And I felt like that was a sustainable level of work, just 30 minutes a day. And I've been doing that for the last few months. And then recently it started to feel a bit too easy, so I've increased the volume up to 35 minutes. Okay. And yeah, look, I work at McDonald's, and it's just the job. It feels a lot easier now. Like on the grill, almost feels boring. It was never boring before. You know what I mean? I remember I was working at McDonald's when I had a low IQ, and people were telling me they found it easy. I was like, how do you find it easy? Because for me, it was head wrecking shit. It took me like 3 months to get the hang of the chicken batch and the grill, and I couldn't get the hang of any other stations. I was just on the chicken batch and grill the whole time. Or maybe they put me on lobby the odd time, or make me do stock or stuff like that, or cleaning duties. But now it's just now that my brain has increased just from doing 30 minutes of work a day, it just feels a lot easier. So that's the thing. You gotta find the right volume. Because I don't know how people can study 5 hours a day. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. Apparently, Jordan Peterson only reads for 3.5 hours a day, and he's one of the smartest psychologists in the world. But anyway, so you gotta question this stuff. I was a bit gullible, a bit naive. When I got that letter home saying I needed to study for 5 to 6 hours per day, I thought, nah, that can't be right. That's stupid. But then my parents said, no, no, that's what it takes. You have to do that if you want to do well in your junior cert. Yeah, look, I don't feel guilty about doing crap in the junior cert, and leaving cert. Yeah, my parents were pissed off, annoyed. Well, it's their own fault being such idiots, the way I see it. There's a saying by Mr. Miyagi, no such thing as bad student, only bad teacher. And, well, look, I don't believe that's right in all cases. I believe there are some bad students, to be honest. But, in my case, I was a good student, but taught by bad teachers. So I kind of had to figure this out by myself. As I mentioned before, I need to experiment to try to find out the secret. And the secret is just do less. Find the volume that is sustainable, that you can grow from, and just stick with that for the time being, and maybe increase the volume slowly. I think that's the secret, Like, as a runner, when I started out as a runner, I used to only run like 2 miles a day. 2 miles. That's nothing. But I built on that. And I was doing about 90 miles per week at my peak. And towards the end, I even did a few 100-mile weeks. But yeah, that's a lot of miles. I think I even did 110 some weeks, but I think that kind of affected my immune system. So I started like sneezing and coughing a lot. So I had to cut down a little bit to like 90. So yeah, this is why I'm against the education system. I think it'd be a much better idea if they just, instead of having this one size fits all and pretending we're all the same standard, maybe adjust the workload to the individual. Okay? So yeah, maybe some people have high IQs that can study 5 hours a day, but I couldn't respond well to that. It was just too much work. And most people can't do that, and most people respond from a lighter workload. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're sort of being let down. Alright?